ਦੋਸਤੋ ਲਾਲ ਬਟਨ ਦੇ ਸੀਜ਼ਨ 2 ਐਪੀਸੋਡ 4 ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਸਵਾਗਤ ਹੈ। ਅਤੇ ਅੱਜ ਆਪਾਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਏ ਹਾਂ ਗੈਸਟ ਸੁਹਾਵੀ ਮੱਕੜ, ਨਾਲ ਮੇਰੇ ਅੱਜ ਸਨੀ ਦੀਵਾਨਾ ਨੇ। ਅਤੇ ਸੁਹਾਵੀ ਬਾਰੇ ਇਹ 2009 ਵਿੱਚ ਆਏ ਨੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ, ਅਤੇ ਹਾਈ ਸਕੂਲ ਇੱਥੋਂ ਕੀਤਾ ਅਤੇ UFT ਵਿੱਚ ਅਸੀਂ ਇਕੱਠੇ ਪੜ੍ਹੇ ਹਾਂ। ਅਤੇ ਬਿਜ਼ਨਸ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਬਿਜ਼ਨਸ ਕੀਤਾ ਅਤੇ ਫਿਰ ਜੋਬ ਵੀ ਕੀਤੀ 2 ਸਾਲ, ਅਤੇ ਹੁਣ ਫੁੱਲ ਟਾਈਮ ਆਪਣਾ ਬਿਜ਼ਨਸ ਰਨ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਹੋਮ ਸਟੇਜਿੰਗ ਦਾ। ਅਤੇ ਹੋਮ ਸਟੇਜਿੰਗ ਬਾਰੇ ਵੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਕੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਆ। ਅਤੇ ਨਾਲ ਇਹ MBA ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਆ ਕੁਈਨਸ ਯੂਨੀਵਰਸਿਟੀ ਤੋਂ, 1 year ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਹੈ ਨਾ। ਅਤੇ ਹੁਣ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਹੋਰ ਗੱਲਾਂ, ਅਤੇ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਸਵਾਗਤ ਹੈ ਇੱਥੇ। ਅਤੇ ਥੋੜ੍ਹੀ ਜਿਹੀ ਆਪਣੀ ਇੰਟਰੋਡਕਸ਼ਨ ਵੀ ਦਿਓਗੇ?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you summed it up pretty well. Right now I am running
ਹੁਣ ਇਹਨੂੰ expand ਕਰ ਦਿਓ।
I'm running my own business. We do home staging and interior decoration. We started it about 4 years ago. And very quickly we've grown well and we've gotten good success in the market. So, very lucky and blessed about that. And then, yes, I'm doing my accelerated MBA at Queen's University. It's a 1 year part-time program. Only reason I went back to school because it was 1 year part-time. Couldn't have taken school for longer than that. And I like to stay involved in the community and help out with other organizations wherever I can.
Yeah. So what made you go back to school?
I think so. If I'm being very honest, I'm a nerd. मेरा हमेशा एक checklist है कि I just needed to get an MBA. It's just a very expensive checklist.
Yeah, it's a pretty expensive program.
It's especially at Queen's because it's one of the top business schools in Canada. So it's a very expensive program. So they really like to milk their students. But नहीं, मैंने एक हमेशा सीखा कि मैं अपना network grow करना चाहती थी. I think one of the things that I felt like I missed in my undergrad experience was, being in touch with other people who were in the similar industry, who were, at the top of their industry, et cetera. And so my brother, he actually went to Queen's for his undergrad. So that's how I kind of got introduced to it. The teachers, the faculty, the alumni network is it's all absolutely phenomenal. So, that's the only MBA program I applied to. I was pretty like, je ho gaya theek hai, je nahi hoya to main MBA nahi karni. And yeah, so I basically went back to school to kind of expand my network, see what's the latest, see what's happening in terms of education, strategy, marketing, add that 3 letters behind my name, and just grow a little more.
Oh, 3 letters behind it. Okay, you were referring
MBA.
to the MBA. Okay.
Yes.
I was confused because I was still your message on your Instagram, it says Suhavi Kaur.
Yeah.
Right. So and he introduced you as Suhavi Makkar.
Yes.
Right, so that's the first time I found out your last name.
Yeah.
And then you said something about adding to your last name. So I'm like even more confused.
Filhal, we're just adding MBA. That is all we're adding for now. Yeah. And it's a transition because I think jadon si India se we always just went by Singh and Kaur.
Right.
I actually used to hate my last name because I was like, Makkar hai kis tarah da last name hai na? And no one ever in any of my friend circle knew that Makkar is my last name. It's just that when you apply for PR here and everything, they want you to have that last name because they don't want everyone to be a Singh and Kaur. So.
I like that. I like the Singh and Kaur though.
Yeah, same. So I'm now eventually going back to Kaur. But actually, if you want to know, my passport says Ich Puneet Kaur Makkar.
Ich Puneet?
Ich Puneet Kaur Makkar.
Ich Puneet?
Yes.
What does that mean?
So I know it's a very unique name. So it's broken up into 2. It comes from the word Icha and Puneet. Icha is like a wish, and Puneet means like a pious, pure wish. So yeah, my parents are very creative with both my names. So like passport mein likha hai Ich Puneet Kaur Makkar.
Acha.
But hamesha ghar wale Suhavi kende sige, but with the India at school sare Ich Puneet kende si. So when I came here, I was like, I never felt like an Ich Puneet. I've always felt like a Suhavi. It's more me.
That's my
exactly.
Mera bhi because it's Sandeep and Sunny and
So kinne loga da itthe ave hunda hai. So when I came here, I was like, how there's a concept of preferred names. I was like,
Mhm.
yes, put down Suhavi. I want to be called Suhavi. But then for starting India, you're changing who you are and you're trying to fit in. So, but nay, it wasn't like I always had two names, and so right now it's a combination of Suhavi Makkar, Suhavi Kaur, H. Puneet.
Okay, it's in a transition phase.
Your friends in India used to call you Suhavi or
H. Puneet.
H. Puneet?
Yeah. So they still, I'm in touch with some of them, and they still call me H. Puneet.
I know, like, I think with some of friends too, like they want us to call with a different name.
Yeah.
But once you're comfortable calling your friend by a certain name, you want to keep calling by the same name.
Exactly. Yeah. Doing India every concept on that you call them by like your last name, right? So one of my friends, I just call her Singla. That's her last name. That's just, I don't call her by her first name. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah. Because after 16 years, you don't change your friend's name, right? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. India, the core concept on that people have like the names that the friends don't like.
Yeah.
Nicknames.
Yeah, exactly.
Like everybody else calls them by that name, and they don't know sometimes.
So you feel good when you come here, like, okay, chalo, naam to da picha chutya mera.
Yeah, because I was like, because attendance lender, there's a lot of parody videos when a white teacher comes across like a foreign name, they're just like, they stutter, and then you know that it's your name.
Right, yeah.
So I was like, ethic loka to Suhavi bhi nahi kiya janda kai bari. And for me, it's very simple because it's Suhavi. Like, where do you complicate that? Like, it's very broken up.
Yeah.
But imagine if it's at H. Puneet, like no one would say that. So I was like, no, I need to make friends. So let's stick with Suhavi.
Even when I went to dental school, like my name Dharminder, like brown people are pretty comfortable. They remember my name.
Exactly.
Because of the actor, right? But like all these Gore, they would like not call by my name, or like they'll be like, oh, is it T? Like they don't even have the sound, right?
Oh yeah.
So they would call me Terminder. So then I was like, okay, call me Minder. I changed it to that. Yeah. Now pretty much everyone. I like Minder now better. Yeah.
I think we all kind of go through that transition.
Yeah, as an immigrant. So you came to Canada when you were 16. You
yes,
said?
I was 16. I moved here with my immediate family, mom, dad, my younger brother, and I. For my brother and I, it was like the first time we were getting on a plane. We were doing pretty well back home, and I think that's the story of a lot of immigrants. I think there's this concept that people think that people move here for money or other things, and everyone has their own journey. But I think there's a lot of us who move here for just a better life quality in a way.
Or like a better future.
Because now when Jetusi meri mama ne pucho, she would say that she had a better quality life there, right? Because she had maids working for her, and she had her rishtedar all around, so she had a pretty chill life.
But that's what they realize after they get here.
Exactly.
Right? When you're there, you're thinking like, oh my God, Canada.
It's gonna be better. Yeah. Same my parents too. Right.
I do a joke based on that in my shows as well, because in India, parents were like, oh, let's go to Canada. It's 15 years ahead of us.
Yeah.
And I'm like, as a kid, I thought, okay, we're going to be traveling time now.
Yeah. I think so. My dad, he had his own business back home. So he was exporting manufactured goods in Ludhiana. So he had traveled to Europe. He had done a little bit of North America. So he knew what he's getting into. He had done his research. He knew but my mom and dad were just very frustrated with the policing system.
Oh yeah, the administration system.
Exactly. Like life inside your house is great. Like just recently, one of my friends from the MBA program, we were talking about like the kotiyan back home, like like how he said every house looks like a mansion, and it's true. Like if you compare it to houses here, so he's like, why'd you guys move here? And I was like, that's your life inside that house is great. But the moment you step out, and if something were to happen to you, or you need someone to make sure that the justice is happening, that is what's missing. And so, my dad did not want that for us, because he ran his own business. He knew कि उत्थे आके लोग पैसे मांगते हैं कि अपना खर्चा पानी, this and that. Like जे कोई government तो काम करवाना, you're like lining up for So he just wanted it to be simple. He knew that he's going to be actually stepping back a little bit, but for long term, he decided to move
and for
here.
your
education. And I think that is something I'm very grateful for, because and I talked to my brother about this. the life that I'm living right now, running my own business, you know, like the MBA, the vacations that I take with my family, or I wouldn't be able to do that if I was there. You know, it's like, jabi saal de ho gaye, get married.
Right.
You know, have kids. You know, and I'm lucky because a lot of my cousins, like parents, like they're teachers or they have something going on, but we don't come from a family where like women necessarily make their own careers. Right, like their primary role is to be like a wife and a mom, and I'm so grateful for moving here and for living the life.
Yeah, and you've gone even beyond that, because then you go from that and you go a job, and you're like, no, not even job. I'm
yeah. So I'm very lucky. I'm very lucky that mom and dad decided to move here. For sure.
Right, which is nice, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, shuru jaake problem hondi hai, saran hondi hai. Like it just so happened jado asi aaye, I think the Ontario Travel like Ministry or whatever, they went on strike. So my dad couldn't apply for his driver's license. And that strike was like for 4 or 5 months or something like that. And what we said the other time. So we used to do groceries and everything. So like the first time we were seeing snow, and then eddi baraf, and then you have to like go get groceries and just like basic things you would have to rent a car for. You're continually like, you know, converting like rupees into like dollars and
you do that for a couple of years.
Because you don't think in dollars, you think in rupees, because that's the money you have. And personally for you, it's like, you know, jimmy main grade 11 jaake join kita, and then there are always kids in school who would pick on you for your accent, you know, like I remember, and I know this sounds very Bollywood, but I literally this one time, there was this big black girl in school. I didn't know what she had against me, but she did not like me for whatever reason. And I was that kid who got pushed against the locker. Like she was right in my face. And I was like crying, and I went to the teachers, like, you know, like help me out. Like
and
the
you
counselor.
have no clue why this is happening.
So I went to go access my locker, and she was there, and I politely asked her to move a little, and that was enough to like set her off. Or like, because I was always like the nurse, I was always putting my hand up, and then jado class answer they're not, so there was like a bunch of kids in the back, you know, instead of roll up on that, like they would make fun of, like they would start talking like, I am here, I'm going to, like, you know, like Indian accents which bolna shuru kar dena. Exactly. I remember this one time, so I was volunteering with like kids with disabilities in my grade 11, grade 12 years. And I think it was like the first few months of us being in school, and it was my 8th or 9th day volunteering. And this little girl I was helping out, she's like, why do you always braid your hair? So like, main hamesha gut kar di si, right? And that's the thing, like that's a very common thing that you do back home.
Right.
That's all you do, because I don't cut my hair.
Right.
And that's how you take care of your hair, you know, you gut it. And unne like, okay, and that just like ticked me off inside, because you're so conscious of so
you're
many
just
things.
always like,
Exactly, like if I'm wearing something, how is someone looking at me? And I came home, and I remember like I sat my mom and dad down, and I was like, I need to do something about my hair. And I knew like cutting my hair wasn't an option. I didn't want to do it. But yeah, I was like a 16-year-old girl in a new high school, new culture, new environment, everything. And mom and dad like, what are you going to do? And I'm like, I don't know, something, you know, get me a straightener, get me a curler. And then I would like start braiding it differently. I was still, of course, braiding, but yeah, these little things really get to you.
Right.
You know?
Like, or sometimes when people correct you for a word.
Yeah,
right?
like the way you pronounce.
Yeah, the way you pronounce it, and then they don't get it. And then they start laughing, and then you're like, oh, you're like dying inside.
You know, I noticed that Punjab ch zyada hunda. You know, like Punjab which you get shamed, or at least in my experience, Punjab which you get shamed more for saying the words wrong, versus here I think generally people understand that you come from a different background. Because I went to a convent school in Ludhiana, so there was always like English polo and whatnot. And like we didn't have like Google or anything back then either. So I would say some words wrong, and then my friends were like, "Aise nahi bolte, aise bolte," right? And they were like, "Ha ha 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 ha," right? Versus here, I think people want to educate. Ki, oh, by the way, you know, like at this sadka de naam, like Burnham Thorpe and like you know McLaughlin, like it comes a time, right? And you know people
Chinkuzi,
exactly.
Even I'm saying it wrong.
Yeah. But in my experience, I think overall people generally want to educate you here versus India, which in my experience was like, you know, तुझे ये भी नहीं पता ऐसे कहते हैं.
I think
right?
with like racism and everything, we're worse.
Like,
we're racist. We're racist.
Kids like doing that, right?
Yeah.
Kids like correcting. I have a nephew and nieces. They are always out there to correct me. Oh, Mama, you don't say it this way. And they are teenagers.
Especially when you're a teenager, right?
Yeah, exactly. You're going through a phase in your life.
Teenagers are assholes. Can we just agree with that?
I think there's a lot going on. I mean, I had it definitely was a tough time for me, but I don't know if I'll go as far as that.
Just kidding.
How often do you go back?
Pehle kuch saal, like I remember we went back like every year. For the first 2 or 3 years, and I was like, the first year my cousin got engaged. The second year my cousin got married, and my dad's like, har saal main India di ticket khareed rahe hain. But it was such an emotional time for us. So I was like, I need to go back or I'm going to sit here and cry all my summer. But ਹੁਣ ਥੋੜਾ change ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ. Now I'm like, if I'm going to take 2 ਹਫ਼ਤੇ ਦੀ ਛੁੱਟੀਆਂ, I'm going to spend $1,700-$1,800 on a ticket. I'd like to go see other places. You know, so now ਉਹ ਖਿੱਚ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗੀ.
Right. Yeah, it's the point you get over that. You're like, there's other places in the world I want to see.
Yeah, because it's difficult when you go back. I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but you've moved here and बहुत transition करके तुसी ਹੁਣ ਇੱਥੇ settle ਹੋਏ ਹੋ. But then when you go back, I feel like people are constantly like judging you and they have things to say ਜਿਵੇਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਫਿਰ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ, you know, ਪਿੱਛੇ ਜਾ ਕੇ. ਔਰ ਮੇਰਾ ਜਦੋਂ ਮੈਂ actually notice ਕੀਤਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਜਦੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਇੰਡੀਆ 'ਚ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀ ਨਾ, like my brother and I, we were very smart with our words. Like ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਖੂਬ ਸਾਰੇ ਰਿਸ਼ਤੇਦਾਰਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਰਹਿ ਰਹੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਹੋ ਨਾ, ਤਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕੁਝ ਪੁੱਛਦੇ ਆ, you are able to like mince your words in a way ki like when you answer you don't really answer. But hun now dimag da filter chala gaya, right? Like if I feel a certain way about you, I'm going to tell you that that's how I feel, and I'm going to say it respectfully, but drama karna, you know, like you say something to your face right now.
Hindi naatਕਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ ladies.
अरे तुम तो बहुत खूबसूरत लग रहे हो.
Exactly. Honda nahi hai, you know. So I'm actually nervous. Like the last time I went back, I put out this disclaimer that listen, I am the same person, but yes, the way I talk, the way I think has changed. If you don't like anything I say, let me know. But you know, I'm gonna speak the truth.
Right.
And Sanu, like,
let me know, but I'm still not gonna change.
It's like any, and isn't that what like Sikhi teaches you? Isn't that the right thing to do?
Right,
the right thing to
and
do.
even for mental health, it's a good thing.
Exactly.
You're saying what you mean.
Get it out of your system, you know. And then it's not like go around hurting people. I'm not saying that, but also, you know, if you want to, the truth is the truth. You know, like you know. You just say it.
Right.
Yeah.
And so let's talk about homestaging. I feel like we're we're still stuck in the past.
All India, Punjab.
Immigration stories.
So about business. What got you into this business, and you always wanted to be a businesswoman?
I guess one way or another. So the family I come from, we don't have any doctors or engineers. We're all business people. My Nana ji started his own company and made it successful. You know, I actually know my Taya ji is an engineer. Sorry, Taya ji, if you're watching this. But, you know, otherwise, like, they're all, like, Punjab industry hai, right? So becoming a doctor and engineer, too much science, never, you know, thing for me. But unconsciously, like, I started my first business when I was 10. So I was sitting in an arts and crafts school in my class in my school. I learned how to make like coasters, like ribbon coasters. And so the next day I got my brother, you know, I literally got 100 rupees from my dadi ji. We went to the local store. I got a whole bunch of ribbons, like some material, came back. I taught my brother how to do it. We made like 3-4 coaster. And then agle din I went back to school and I started selling it. And I didn't even realize what I'm doing then. Like it just, I like looking back, I don't know what occurred to me that I wanted to do it, but I did. And I remember I sold one coaster because, of course, all my friends were sitting in the same class. So, सारे ने पता सी coaster के बनाने, so why would they buy it from me, right? So that was a major strategic flaw in my business plan. But I sold one coaster for 10 rupees. I still remember that. I priced small coaster 5 rupees, bada coaster 10 rupees. I know. So I sold one, and I was very happy, even though like it was a major loss. Like 100 rupees invest kiye, 10 rupees da ek becha. Like I didn't make any money. And then I remember my friend came back to me the next day. She's like, "Ki meri mama keh rahi hai ki main 10 rupees nahi spend kar sakti, so can I get a return on it?" Right? Because this is like grade 4, so we used to get pocket money for lunch. So we didn't have a lot of money just sitting on us, and you know, this is like, you're talking 15 years ago, 20 years ago, so like 10 rupees was a big deal. And so she's like, "Can I return this, please?" And I remember this. I looked into her eyes and I said, "No exchange, no return." And I walked away. And I think that we weren't friends anymore. But I did make that one sale. So yeah, that's how I kind of, you know, without knowing, started into it. And specifically for home staging, so my dad's a realtor, and that's how we kind of came around the concept of like home staging. And my mom, she went to school for design. She got her master's in art, so she was always very, you know, creative. Even India, which like I think my mom and dad spent like 4 years to make their koti, and everything was custom.
And how they were creative
hand-picked.
with your name as well.
What's that?
How they were creative with your name as well.
Yeah, my name, exactly. Like
So they're
Suhavi
creative.
So like my mom likes everything. Like she has a different style and taste. So she was always into this stuff. So my dad's like, you know, you're here. Because it was a tough transition for her. Like when we moved here, dad started his business. Brother and I started going to school. But mom's like, main tahi kar rahi hu. Right? Like I had a life back home. But here, I don't know anyone. No one talks to you. Sarkate koi aanda nahi hai. Like, you know, there's like, you're just, everything's so quiet and silent. So for a very long time, we were the kind of family where like, cholo wapas chaliye, nahi rehna hai. Nahi cholo chaliye, nahi rehna hai. So it was kind of like that back and forth. So very honestly, this business started as just a thing that we wanted to give our mom so she can stay busy. We were like, dad, like, if nothing else, like dad, that project every month. And that's it. She will be working on something. She will have like a purpose every morning she wakes up. And that's how we kind of started into it. And my mom's the designer. I went to school for business, so I just naturally helped her with her marketing, promotion stuff. My brother worked on the website. So it was very like family. We didn't have any plans of scaling it. Like we were like, mama wants to take it. Right? Like it's something for her to stay busy. But she started off, and you know, her designs really were received well in the market, and then other realtors started contacting us, and then we started in the smaller homes. But you know, 4 years out, we're doing like big 6,000, 7,000 square feet homes in Richmond Hill, custom builds, interior decoration, and now we're doing our first commercial decoration project. So it's very cool.
So is it popular among all the realtors, the home staging, or is it like few people do it? Like So what is the business? That's what I want to know.
What is home staging? Yeah, for sure. So I think for anyone jinne apna ghar khareedne di koshish ਕੀਤੀ है, you go through photos on MLS, right? And you can tell ki kehda ghar sona tiyar hoya hai, and kai gharaं di photo te loki like their beds are like undone and whatnot. They just put it up because they're just trying to get it, you know, they're just trying to sell it. So home staging, we come in to redecorate, and think of it as like a quick interior decoration project when you're about to put your home on the market. Because your home is your home until you put it up on the market, and then it becomes a product. Your buyer compares it, like when you go out for showings, you do like, you see 10 ghar ek shamj, and then you put an offer on one. So you want to make sure that your house is the one that stands out, the one that, you know, the buyer remembers at the end of the day. And that can happen when we, you know, it's like the right size of the furniture, it's sitting in the right position, it has like very nice art and decor, flowers that bring life, greenery that add, you know, a little bit of nature to it. You know, get rid of your personal photos, because ਕਈ ਘਰਾਂ ਚ ਅਸੀਂ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ ਤੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਦਾਦਾ ਦਾਦੀ ਦੇ ਵਿਆਹ ਦੀਆਂ ਫੋਟੋਆਂ ਲਾਈਆਂ ਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ, like, you know, the big large photos. And if you see that as a buyer walking into a house, you can't imagine yourself living there, right? So it's about romancing the buyers a little bit, and it's also about showing like the true size and scale. ਹੁਣ ਜਿਵੇਂ multi-million dollar ਘਰ ਹੈਗੇ Richmond Hill, which you want to make sure that if someone is spending $3 million on a house, you're catering to that luxury. You know, you're showing them that this is the lifestyle, this is what you're paying for. So it's very scientific as well. Like, you know, kai vari kara de awkward layouts on them. And no one knows what to do with it, especially when you walk into an empty house. You don't know ki living room kithe banega, dining room kithe banega, kinna vadda dining aa sakda hai nahi aa sakda. So that's our job, because usually people have a very tough time imagining it, and our job is to come in and set it up. And right now, you know, I want to say half our business is, so going back to your question, ki log ki karwande ki nahi karwande, I think depend karta hai ki if people see value in it, first of all. But a lot of the business or the calls that I get on an everyday basis is like people telling us ki assi ghar sale te lagaya hoya par vik nahi raha.
Okay.
Right? So it's a khali car, ya thoda ja furniture हैगा, ਵੱਡੇ ਸਾਰੇ living room ਚ ਇੱਕ sofa पे and that's it. Showings ਹੋ ਰਹੀਆਂ ਪਰ ਹੁਣ showings ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋ ਰਹੀਆਂ, offer ਕੋਈ ਆਈ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ. So could you come help us out? And ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਕਿੰਨੀ ਵਾਰੀ ਹੋਇਆ ਹੈ ਕਿ same house, you know, relisted at the same price, and the only difference is that we've staged it. Recently, a condo in downtown sold for $70,000 above asking.
Wow.
They relisted it for the same price.
And how much did it cost to...
For that specific condo,
home
it
staging?
cost them $2,800.
20. Okay. Not... Okay.
So they spent $2,800, and the only thing that changed, like we didn't make any changes, like the paint color was nice, the light fixtures were nice, and the only thing that we changed was staging, just adding furniture, the right colors, the scheme and everything, and $70,000 above asking, and it became the highest sale in the building.
Wow.
So who
Yeah.
contacts you? Like realtor contacts you usually, or the seller?
It's a mix. It's definitely a mix. I think ਜਿਹੜੇ realtors ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਨਾ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕੀਤੇ, they keep coming back and they refer other realtors to us. But ਹੁਣ ਕਾਫੀ depend ਕਰਦਾ ਕਿ commission package ਕੀ ਹੈਗਾ, right? ਜਿਵੇਂ realtor, ਜਿਵੇਂ especially like in Brampton area, ਜਿਵੇਂ 0.5 ਜਾਂ 1% ਤੇ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਦੇ, they're not making enough money to be hiring us as well.
Right.
So at that point they're like कि कुछ stagers ਹੈਗੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ contact ਕਰ ਲਓ. So the seller contacts us. ਨਾਲੇ ਅੱਜਕੱਲ, you know, the industry trend is changing where the sellers try to sell the homes on their own. So like Purple Bricks and companies like that. Right? So ਜਿਵੇਂ seller ਆਪੇ ਵੇਚ ਰਿਹਾ, they're not even engaging a realtor, so they just contact us directly.
Okay, so they hire you guys.
Yeah, it's a mix.
Right.
It's a mix for
So
sure.
for staging the home, do you guys have you have a studio?
Yeah,
Right.
our own warehouse. Exactly.
Right, you own him.
Yes,
So that's
yes.
where you store all the stuff.
Yeah.
So you guys hire movers and stuff.
Yeah,
to
yeah.
do all that.
Absolutely. So we have our own team. We have designers who work and help out mom with the design aspect of things, and we have movers and a truck, and we're actually in the process of transitioning into a bigger space right now to add to more inventory. But yeah, kuch apne like sofa, dinettes, etc.
So you
that we
bring
have.
that to the house and then stage it and then...
Remove it once it's sold. So it's kind of like a rental furniture if you think about it. Yeah.
Because furniture is not part of selling the house anyways. Yeah,
exactly.
it's only the stove and the fridge.
Exactly. Right? Yeah, it's like the appliances. Yeah, ਜਿਵੇਂ ਕੋਈ if anything's attached to the wall, like light fixtures, unless you say ਕਿ light fixtures ਅਸੀਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਵੇਚ ਰਹੇ. So that's also part of the sale. But ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕਈ ਵਾਰੀ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਕਿ, you know, the buyers are like, I want to buy the house as it is. So tell me how much are you selling your furniture for as well. And sometimes we're able to sell it, sometimes we're not. But yeah, we've gotten offers for that as well. But नहीं, साਡਾ काम rental ਦਾ ਹੈਗਾ. So yeah.
So you do sell the stuff as well, like
Yeah. If it's the right product, they're paying the right price for it, you know.
Right, why not then,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah, because ਸਾਡੇ ਵੀ ਕੋਈ favorite pieces ਹੈਗੇ, right? Because I know if to make ਵਾਰੀ ਵੇਚਦਾ, I'm not going to be able to buy it back again.
Right.
So, you know, then at that point I'm like, you know, I'm very sorry, but yeah. So it's a mix. ਕਈ ਵਾਰੀ, you know, you sell it, sometimes you don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you said you went to school
Yeah.
for a Bachelor of Commerce.
Yes.
Right? And then you started working.
Yeah, so right out of school, I actually got my job with Otis Elevator Company.
Okay.
So Elijah Otis started the concept of an elevator. So they're like the biggest elevator company, and elevators is something that you don't really think of. It's not like a sexy industry, like, you know, no one goes to school ki main 4 saal ki degree karke elevators ch kaam karna, right? Especially apne people, like there's like you don't think of that, right?
Like some people are even scared of taking elevators.
Yeah. But while I'm here, I'd like to educate. Elevators are actually safer than escalators. Because elevators, you know how you picture dikhande ki rassi tut gayi and elevator came crashing down. That's like the possibility of that happening is so rare, so little, because one rope is actually 6 ropes tied together. and there's 6 of those ropes on a standard size elevator, so it's actually 36 ropes holding you. So even if one snaps, you'll be okay. They're not going to snap, especially Ontario, the which like jo the TSSA हैगी है वो काफी regulate करती है, make sure that the safety is there. But
they probably check it regularly
exactly,
as well, right?
exactly. But it's the escalators, जो तुसी sandals पाके escalators से चढ़ते हो, yeah, we've gotten so many stories कि like strollers कई बारी parents force कर देते हैं, right? Like escalators they, and those accidents that can really like cut your toe or like other injuries. So elevators are safe, you guys.
Yeah,
we safe.
They can start running backward.
Yeah, वो भी China काफी हो गया कि वो जल्दी चलने शुरू हो गए या पीछे चलने शुरू हो गए. But yeah, elevators are definitely safer. You come in, you stay there, you go up or down. But no, yeah, so I started with those guys. I started in their downtown office, which is like their biggest, busiest office. I had some of the hospitals, so Toronto General, Mount Sinai, buildings like Rogers Centre, so key buildings that were part of their skyline as my clients. So I often say I was thrown right to the wolves because they're like the toughest clients, because, you know, hospital de vich elevator na chale, that's you're in deep shit. Right? Rogers Centre, which game hai ki hai, right? And your elevators aren't working. You know, what are you, exactly, it's chaos. So I'm not a technical person, but I was doing technical sales for 2 years with people who had been in industries for like 10, 15 saal, right? So it was a lot of learning. And also a little bit of like bullshitting, but just very
that's part of every business.
Exactly, but very careful bullshitting, because je tusi unhone kuch aisa bol liya jo unhone pata hai ki sach nahi hega, they will call you out on it, and then you lose respect. Then you're just a sleazy salesperson. But no, I was doing account management for them, so I had my portfolios. I was responsible for making sure that I'm selling to them, they were happy, renewing their contracts, going out and getting more business. So it was kind of like running my own business within there, because these customers would always come to me, and I was responsible for making sure they were happy, growing my customer base, etc. But yeah, it was a very interesting journey, not just the sales but also like the demographic of it. It's mostly gore bande jehde the kaam karde hain. The mechanics, like, it's still very much a boys club. I remember one of my mechanics called me once, and I was like, hey, and he's like, hey babe, and I'm like, do not call me babe ever. You don't get to call me that. I remember on my first day, and it was the same guy actually, so I did report him to HR. The first day, I walk into the office. You have to do that, right? At first day, I walk into the office. He is there. My manager introduces me to him, saying like, she's our new account manager. You guys might be working on some clients together. And I will never forget this. He looks up and down and he says, oh, my clients are going to have a good time working with you. Like, so there's so much awareness around this topic, especially with the Me Too campaign and whatnot, but it's shocking that this industry is still very much like the boys club that you're talking like, 15, 20, 30 years ago. And, the HR took action on it and the company supports it, but, so like, imagine what these guys talk about when you're not there.
Right, that's on the first day,
exactly,
meeting for the first time.
Exactly, and he had no problem saying
and
that.
You're not comfortable there anyways, right? Like, there aren't that many women working there, so
even if you're a man, like, and
exactly.
it's your first day and someone says that to me,
I know, that's so weird. Exactly,
it's just weird.
I think that definitely helped me grow a thicker skin. Because as चीज़ां ने मैंने कभी bothered, like, I wasn't like depression या कुछ भी. I reported it to HR and moved on. I did my job. I think being the only woman, it was my job there to educate these guys. Like, if you guys are joking about something, this is wrong. You can't say that. I was the only Indian, Canadian person in the office. So people would like Diwali that I took in mithai, and I was like, what's mithai? And I was like, this is what mithai is, So like, I was always educating them, but it really allowed me to grow a thicker skin, which I think is so important,
especially in the business world.
Exactly.
Right? Like, you're dealing with the clients, like, everyday different people.
Exactly. You meet so many personalities, especially on home staging, which at one point we are working on 6 or 7 projects. And 6 or 7 projects means 6 or 7 realtors, and then or 6 and 7 home sellers. Sometimes at one project we have 2 people, realtor be involved on that, seller be involved on that. So you're working with so many people, so many personalities, so, and then you just want to make sure that you're catering to all of them. And that is what allows you to like apni sanity bhi rakhni hai, but you want to make sure that, because it's a service industry, so you want to make sure they're walking away happy.
So for sales, what did you do? What was part of your job? Like, what was something different?
Oh my god, like what did I sell at Otis?
Like, or how did you sell it?
How did I sell it? So in terms of what I was selling, like very boring things, but like door operator, so things that you don't even think about. Right? Jada darwaza khulda band hunda hai, like purana ho gaya hai, ya problems de raha hai, ya the buttons that you push, or like interiors,
like
so stuff like that.
Parts and stuff?
Yeah, because I didn't do new sales, because ਜਿਹੜੀ downtown Toronto बहुत घट new construction हो रही है, और ਜਿਹੜੀ हो रही है, they're like high rise, and that would go through a different department. So I was doing like maintenance related sales, and my thing was, I know that sales has this like image of like, sleazy car salesman.
Like,
ki je koi banda exactly ki je koi banda mainu kuch vechar di koshish kar raha hai, mera fayda utha raha hai, for me, my ethics and principle is very important. If I'm putting my name down on something, I genuinely want to believe in what I'm selling to you. So for me, I always made sure because we always track ki keda elevator kitni bari band ho raha hai, like all this boring stuff, but like kyon ho raha hai, ki problem hai. So I would always talk to my mechanics and say, okay, how can we be proactive, like kyon hai problem aa rahi hai dobara inu fix karan waste assi ki unna nu upgrade de sakte hain. But when you're working in a corporate sales environment, you do have sales quotas to meet as well. And when you got to meet those quotas, you do got to sell stuff that people don't always need. And that is what I had a big problem with. I was doing things that I wasn't comfortable with. I was making promises to my customers that I knew wouldn't be delivered upon, because the industry is facing a major mechanic shortage. Like, in the mechanics hai nahi hai. So if you're living downtown Toronto, your elevator goes down unless you're a top paying building. It's going to stay down for a very long time. But the customer doesn't want to hear that. So I would always kind of make promises, and then, ho gaya. I remember this one time, gosh, I don't even know if I should be saying this out to everyone, but I had this very sweet client. He was running this hostel in downtown. When I went to go meet with him, he had me over for lunch, very like a gentleman, such a nice person. But it was a older building, and his elevator shut down. So I told him that we're waiting for a part, because I knew कि साढ़े को mechanic नहीं है. So I was like, ये part क्योंकि अड्डा पुराना है, US तो आ रही है, time लगेगा. So he was like, okay, 2 हफ्ते लगेंगे. So I was like, अच्छा चलो part आ गया. Now I'm going to schedule your mechanic. So your mechanic would be there another 2 weeks. So he was like, okay. So he never gave me any problems, right? He was the nicest person to me, and it would break my heart because I knew that I'm lying to him. And then it was finally the date that was scheduled that the mechanic's going to go in. The morning off, I come into the office, and the person who organizes the mechanics, because I wasn't in charge of my mechanics, someone else was, because you have the same mechanics for everyone. He told me that the mechanic isn't going in there today. Something broke up with like some other very important building had a breakdown, so the mechanic had to go there. So I called my client and said, listen, my mechanic is sick. He is not coming into work today, because I wasn't going to tell him that, you got bumped down after waiting a month now because someone else is paying us more money. So we're sending him there. So I did that, and he was like, okay, no problem. And I was just like, oh my God, this guy, like, I feel so bad. And the next day, the mechanic went there. मैंने पता चला कि elevator चल रहा है, ठीक है. But जब मैंने पता चला elevator चल रहा है, I got a call from him. I wasn't able to take it. It went to voicemail. And this guy left me a voicemail saying, I cannot believe you lied to me after all the, relationship that we built. Because ਜਦੋਂ mechanic ਅਗਲੇ ਦਿਨ ਉੱਥੇ ਗਿਆ, ਉਹਨੇ ਪੁੱਛਿਆ ਕਿ ਤੂੰ ਕੱਲ ਬਿਮਾਰ ਸੀਗਾ, ਕੀ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਤੈਨੂੰ, ਤੂੰ ਆਇਆ ਨਹੀਂ. The mechanic ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਮੈਂ ਤੇ ਬਿਮਾਰ ਨਹੀਂ. I know, I didn't cover my trail. And the mechanic's like, ਨਹੀਂ ਮੈਂ ਬਿਮਾਰ ਤੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀਗਾ, I was at this other building. And the guy left me the nastiest message. He's like, this and that. I can't believe you would do that to me. I patiently waited. And he was right. He was definitely right. And I just didn't feel, that was a big part. There's a big reason for why I left in the first place, because I was doing and saying things that I, even right now, my heart hurts. Exactly. So, just, A lot going on.
Yeah, I feel like we all go through that, like working, being part of big companies.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah, that was even my work. I always felt like I don't know what I'm doing here.
Yeah.
Kind of like I would just at work not do anything.
Yeah.
Like I would just be bored or like I'd fall asleep.
Yeah.
Like I remember this one time, it was afternoon, like around 2 o'clock. I would fall asleep every day after lunch, right? Like it's not something I could even control. Like it would just happen, right?
Yeah.
So one time I fell asleep and I kind of like woke up and there was a guy standing here that I'd never seen, right?
Wow.
So it turns out he was like basically like the top guys in the company, right?
No.
I don't know who he was. So I tried to just be like, yeah, hey, what's going on, and try to make some conversation, just hoping he didn't see it.
Yeah.
So I wasn't sure if you saw me, right? So a week later, we're in the meeting, and my team leader is talking in the meeting, right?
Yeah.
And he was saying, like, the big guy was here, and he noticed that somebody was sleeping at desk, right? And while he said that, I was also sleeping in the meeting. And I woke up. I woke up, I'm like, oh, shit, I think he's talking about me.
Yeah. That's not good.
Yeah, so I'm like, I gotta
It's because he always was running on low sleep, right? Like you were sleeping 5-6 hours those days.
Yeah, that was
so
part
sleeping
of it
at work, like
I know.
2-hour power naps.
But I guess it also happens if you think that your work lacks purpose. Did you feel that way?
I felt that. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
No purpose.
Yeah, I think जिन्नी वर्दी corporations होनी है, right out of school, you think that you're going to change the world, है ना? कि you have this 4 years of degree, you have everything learned as an engineer, you got your ring, and you're like, I'm going to go in and I'm going to change things up. But when you get into a big company, you realize that you're just a paper pusher for like so many years of your life. You go in and you do the same things every day, and the work you're doing isn't even making a difference, you know? And then the attitude changes.
Then the attitude changes completely.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
You do not want to be in that situation. Absolutely not.
Yeah, but actually the thing was, like, I still, like, even after that, even when I quit my job, because I was feeling internally, I was like, they're going to fire me any minute because I don't do anything here, right?
I'm twice.
Yeah, I'm like, they haven't even given a warning to me, right?
Yeah.
So I told them that I'm quitting, and they're like, what? Why? They're like, you were one of the best guys here.
Really?
I'm like, really? So it's weird because they think you're good. You don't think you're doing good enough, and you're getting paid for all, you're making all this money, and you don't feel entitled to it.
And you know what? The fact that they said that you were one of the best guys here, actually, I think is another reason for you to quit. Because I think people who are motivated to do something with their life, they always want to be, it's a thing, right? Like if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Right.
You always want to be around people who are, who are doing better than you, because that inspires you, that lets you grow. But if sleeping at work at 2 p.m. every day, you're the best person. You don't want to be there, right? Unless that's good for you, right? For some people, they're okay with their 9 to 5 and same jobs every day.
Right, because I think that's the money part comes in, right? If you think about the money was good. Like now I'm making barely nothing compared to that. But I have a more meaningful life. But there it was like, okay, at least financially I'm well. I don't have to worry about things.
Exactly.
Like that. So I think that's also a big motivation for people.
No, you're right, because I think ਜਦੋਂ I left Otis and then I started with Studio Sheen, because ਜਦੋਂ you're working in a corporate job, X dollars are coming in every month. So you're able to go out for your dinners, you're able to spend on other things, because chalo ho raha. But when you're running your own business, you're doing well today, but that doesn't mean you're going to keep doing, you're going to keep going at the same pace tomorrow. And, as your company's growing, so this phase that we're going through right now, you're picking up bigger kache, like we're David House, more people on the staff. There are bills you need to pay one way or another. And I think that's really, like, can stress you out. I remember the first time, like a few years ago, when we were really early on, I found myself, I woke up in the middle of the night, and I realized that I was, like, punching the pillow. Because at night, because I was dreaming that my brother is telling me that you're not doing good enough. Like all the work you're doing is not good enough. And I was so, in my sleep, I was so frustrated that I woke up punching the pillow. And if you tell this to like a psychiatrist, they're like, "Ki tu aaja mere kol, tenu help nahi lode." That is not normal. But it's a lot. It's a big transition because even like elevator industry, whatever it is, it's big money. It is big money because not a lot of people can survive that industry. So they want to make sure they're paying dollars, and then going from that to like now you're starting something from the scratch. And as you would know, like when you start something, it takes a lot of time for the traction.
And it's not guaranteed, right?
It's not guaranteed. Exactly.
I think a lot of people have that thing for jobs, right? Jobs have that security, like you're getting that X amount of dollars, like you're sure. But once you're working in business, it's like sometimes it could be more stress.
Yeah.
But it's I see, but some people want to do business only, I guess, like people like you. But I was always like, my parents were into jobs, so I was always thinking, oh, jobs are better because you are guaranteed, right? Like whereas the business, you're running the risk.
It's very funny you say that because I went back to U of T for an alumni event, and I was networking with second and third year students. And I thought, as an entrepreneur, koi mere naal aake gal nahi karega because they're going to talk to the recruiters at PwC and KPMG because they want jobs. But I'm surprised a lot of people came up to me and they said that I have this idea, or my friends and I we're thinking of this, but we're very scared. We think that it is better to get a job first, and then like your fixed income, or the biggest thing I get is we're very scared.
That uncertainty.
The uncertainty. Right? How are you going to pay your bills? And you're absolutely right. And I think it's a big personality shift, because I was listening to this speaker recently, and he said that when you have a job, your life kind of, it's very like little, the spectrum that it moves in. Your highs and lows, they're very like minimal, right? Ki promotion mil gayi, thoda ja high, boss ne kuch kehta, thoda ja low. But when you're running your business, you're working with a wider spectrum. Your high is here and your low is all the way down there, and then it's just personalities who are okay with that, who look up to those very high highs, and they think that is what they're working towards. It does take a bit of a personality.
And things can go south all the time. Like you gotta be okay with that. Yeah. So it was other way around. Like for me, my parents were doing jobs, sarkari jobs, teachers ke donni. They even now, like once I was in dentistry, they were like, oh, koi sarkari job bhi hundi hai dentist di? I'm like, sarkari job vich ghat paise bande a daddy, like hai na? And they hun bhi ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ 4 ਸਾਲ ਹੀ ਪੁੱਛੀ ਗਏ, ਸਰਕਾਰੀ ਜੌਬ ਮਿਲ ਸਕਦੀ ਹੈ ਇਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਕੋਈ, ਹਨਾ? ਸੋ ਐਂਡ ਮੇਰੀ ਮੰਮੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦੀ ਸੀਗੀ ਵੀ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਬੰਦੇ ਬੱਸ, ਆਪਣੇ ਕਾਫੀ ਬੰਦੇ ਬੱਸ ਚਲਾਉਂਦੇ ਸੀ, ਲਾਈਕ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਕਿੰਨੀ ਵਧੀਆ ਸਰਕਾਰੀ ਜੌਬ ਆ, ਹਨਾ? ਲਾਈਕ ਉਹ
$40 ਘੰਟੇ ਦੇ ਮਿਲਦੇ ਆ, ਹਨਾ?
ਸਰਕਾਰੀ ਜੌਬ, ਲਾਈਕ ਉਹ ਇੱਕ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਵੀ ਬਿਜ਼ਨਸ ਵਾਲੇ ਬਿਜ਼ਨਸ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਜੌਬ ਵਾਲੇ ਆ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਸਰਕਾਰੀ ਜੌਬ ਵਾਲੇ, ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਸਰਕਾਰੀ ਜੌਬ ਇਜ਼ ਦੀ ਬੈਸਟ ਥਿੰਗ.
I guess the stability and the benefits, right?
And plus I think ਕਾਫੀ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੇ ਦੇਖੇ ਵੀ ਹੁੰਦੇ the negative experiences, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੀ ਫੈਮਿਲੀ 'ਚ ਦੇਖੋ, ਕੋਈ ਨਾ ਕੋਈ ਹੋਏਗਾ ਦੂਰ ਦਾ ਰਿਸ਼ਤੇਦਾਰ who started something but they lost everything, and then ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਕੋਈ ਉਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀਗੀ. and ਖਾਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਵਿੱਚ you don't have any social security, right? ਇੱਥੇ ਜਿਵੇਂ employment insurance ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ,
dealing with the government is
easier,
in India
it's exactly, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਜੇ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਪੈਸੇ ਚਲੇ ਗਏ, socially ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਬੇਇੱਜ਼ਤੀ ਹੋਣੀ ਹੈ ਬਹੁਤ, ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨਾਲ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੇ ਵਿਆਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਵਾਉਣਾ, right? Like all those things. So there is a reason for that perspective versus here. From the very early stages, you're encouraged to go take risks, right? You're encouraged to, do what your heart wants to do. And when we moved here, we're like, what do you mean? Like, why is anyone going to like art school? Like, keep paise banaoge to is like, why are you being a historian or like reviewing films? But that's like, it's a bit different there, but it's because the government allows you to do that. They support you. They have programs, right? Even for businesses here, the government gives you money if you have a good enough idea. But India, it doesn't exist.
And coming back to the business, like home staging, if a realtor wants to contact you, how much do you guys charge roughly? Like you would say, like for 700, 800K house, which aren't that many in GTA.
Exactly. I was thinking 700, 800K could be a condo. in downtown versus a townhouse in Brampton. So Sarde prices, they're not based on the value of the house. They are a little bit, of course, if it's a $3 million property versus an $800,000 property, like the luxury of the setup does vary. But our prices are predicted by the layout of the house, the square footage of the house, and ki khali pe kyutte furniture hega. So, of course, homes that have their bigger pieces of furniture and we're only accentuating, accessorizing, it's a different scenario versus if the house is completely empty and we're bringing in everything, it's a different scenario. Condo kime and then vade kar kime, they're all very different. But our starting range is around like $1,300-$1,400.
Okay.
And that's when we're going to accessorize only. Like that doesn't get us any bigger pieces of furniture. And then it can go up to, $8,000-$9,000 depending on, the $3 million properties in Richmond Hill that are completely empty. So those come at that price. But it's a big spectrum.
Yeah. So I guess like they can call you guys.
Absolutely. Yeah, because we've done so many homes. So when basically Jason ko call kare, I'm able to ask them these questions like ki kinna vada ghar hai, kithe located hai, utte kuch hai ki nahi, and unna di vision ki hai, right? Some people are just looking for like kuch furniture de do and that's it, versus others I want that look. I'm going for the luxury high-end market. And based on that, I'm able to give them a range over the phone. And, 9 out of 10 times we're pretty much in the middle of the range. So, because we've been through enough homes to know ki kinda kharcha hoega, right? Sometimes you lose 100, sometimes you make 100, but you know that there's a bit of a range. And so, we were able to do that over the phone fairly quick. And if that works for them, and then we go in for the consultation.
It sounds very similar to the business is very similar to the staging for I don't know what it is called for weddings, like they do. What is
the wedding decor?
Decor.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that industry.
Yeah,
but I know you got married recently.
Yes.
I know you got married recently, so maybe you can.
I guess they both have the visual aspect and the feel of being in a space that's decorated.
And warehouse.
I think but wedding decor is more like, I think as the bride and groom, you tell them ki mera ai theme hai,
colors and themes
and the price, like it varies, like same thing for the structures and stuff.
No, for sure.
So what do you do as a part of Studio Sheen? Do you do sales, marketing?
Yes, because we are a business that is relatively new compared to some others, I do everything. And that means that on some days, if I need to drive one of the smaller trucks, I drive one of the smaller trucks. I know. It was like the first time I had to do that, my mom was like, are you sure? Like, tu kar sakti hai, tu highway te la jayengi. And I was like, Mom, it's part of like our culture. We're all proud truckers, or like we know someone who's a proud trucker, and koi sharam di gal nahi hai ede. And I think that's one of the things that you learn when you move here is like koi kam ucha ya neeva nahi hunda, right? Like,
and girls can do it.
Exactly. Why not? Right. And I actually, it's so funny how comfortable I got into like that seat and driving. Like, I didn't even notice the difference. But like some days I'm doing things like that depending on my labor situation. And other days I am out meeting with, some of the top realtors in the city to get their business. But I don't mind doing it. I think it comes with part and parcel of growing a business. But yeah, I think this has a lot of potential. I think my mom does a great job at everything that she does, and I think we bring a very unique dynamic because she is like the designer artist person. She thinks that way, she acts that way. So for her, the quality of the job is important. But for me, I'm watching numbers and hours.
Yeah.
So when
You're
I
more business.
yeah, so when I get into a job, I'm like, but for her, she's not watching the time. She's like, is the quality good? Is my end result good? She's always fixing and tweaking things till the very last moment. And I think that is such a good balance because we would just be looking at cost and numbers, and we wouldn't get the business that we get right now because our quality would be sacrificed. Versus if it was someone like her, you know, she would be doing a lot of charity work. It'll be good work, but she won't be, you know, the money would be impacted.
Yeah, it reminds me of even on when we were working on films.
Yeah.
Actually, Major, who's doing the tech work behind the scenes, he was there as well. We were shooting a film, and the director was there, and he's the artistic guy, you know.
Yeah.
And because with films or whatever creative work, there's no end to the amount of work and detail you can put into it. So he keeps on going and going, and there was a guy with him. And he would be like, oh, Paji, we have to go. As well, just keep in mind, we have to go and get this done. So it was the combination of both of them. One person was just like, expand. The other person was like, okay, we have this time constraint. We got to get this done in time.
Absolutely. And I think another super interesting dynamic, and this is a big shout out to all, you know, our moms and dads, our parents. I think it's another unique dynamic that we bring to the table is like, I am that young blood, like, God, like, you know, like this and that. Whereas she's more grounded. Like, it's surprising. Like, she never went to business school. She was always an artist, but she has that sense. You know, she has that, let this be. Or, you know, this is how you deal with the situation. So, you know, there's that balance, and, you know, and I think these things come with experience. I think, and it's so important to have that. And I think so many times I would have made a mistake that I didn't because she was there and she was like, okay, no, let's look at this differently. And, you know, I think like, our parents deserve that compliment. Like, they do have experience on us, which we can learn a lot from, even if they didn't have the fancy degrees that you know we do.
That's wonderful. And how detailed is the setup when you're setting up a home? Like, do you go, because I'm picturing a kitchen and like cutlery and you know, cups and etc. Like, how detailed do you guys go?
I think we go very detailed, but not in terms of the cutlery. So for us, so like we said, I always tell my clients, when you hire us, we're not going to make a home sense or a pottery barn out of your house. Because at the end of the day, the buyers are going to buy the house, they're not buying my furniture. So my priority is to use my furniture to make your house look better. And a lot of the homes like the builders, when they build it, they just do whatever they want with the layout. You know, at Diverticage, there might not be a formal living or a formal dining. And that is what our job is. So we have sold homes within days. Jithe flooring the color and staircase the color was very different. And for us, it was very obvious. But the way we set it up, you know, it was distracting for the buyers. So they were looking at other things. So and that house got sold within a day. Which otherwise, if it was sitting empty, it would be right there.
That's the first thing.
Exactly, that's the first thing you'll look at, and you'll be like, I don't want to spend X amount of dollars if I buy this house and then restain the floor or the stairs. So it is very detailed in terms of flooring किस रंग दी है, wall color किस रंग दा है, light fixtures कैसे दी हैं, और उदे विच केड़ा furniture जाएगा. So sofa is just like the background. उदे थले, you know, जड़ा rug होएगा, rug दा कैसा texture होएगा. Do you want a shag, or do you want like one of those like richer ones? Do you want an undertone of gray or brown? You know, उदे आसपास coffee tables कैसे जाएंगे, coffee table का size की होना चाहिए. Should it be a round coffee table or a rectangle coffee table? Like, you know, art कैसी होएगी? Should it be 2 pieces or should it be 1 big piece? You know, so it's very detailed in terms of like all the bigger pieces.
I see.
Given the layout of the house, we always work with the house, with the demographic, because of course a staging in Brampton might look slightly different from a staging in North York, because Italians want like birthday dining rooms versus us, we want the bigger seating and whatnot. So keeping the demographic in mind as well. But yeah. details, but slightly different.
And what's your plan with the MBA? Are you gonna?
God, that's a heavy question.
Yeah,
and I didn't sign up for this. I don't know. I don't. Sorry, you were saying.
Yeah. So you don't know. I mean, I was just gonna help you out with that answer.
Okay.
I mean, are you going back to this business, or are you thinking of something else as well?
Yeah. No, I'm dedicated full time. I want to stay on with this. I think we have a lot of potential. I think we have a lot of places to go, and I'm very excited by the idea of working with my mom. I think it's a very rare opportunity where you guys align, because even though our attitudes and our styles are different, our vision's the same. For us, it's about making sure the customer walks away happy, and I think it's a very good dynamic, and I think there's lots to do. So I'm here full time, and hopefully my MBA is going to pay off.
To be better at what you're doing right now.
To be better, to grow, to do bigger projects, to expand into other areas like commercial decor or having your own furniture line.
Okay, so that's what you think the MBA might help.
Hopefully.
You're
making me question my life decisions.
Right?
Exactly. No. In all sincerity, it is already paying off.
Okay.
One of the courses I'm taking is entrepreneurship, and that guy teaches us how to raise money if you have a good enough idea. And there's an idea that I'm working on where we are looking to raise about $300,000. And it started off as a class project, but my professor reached out to me saying that, if you actually want to raise this kind of money, let me know, I'll help you out. So, I don't know where this is going to take me. Hopefully someplace good.
Right.
Yeah.
And you'll get 3 letters.
My 3 letters.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
And one question I wanted to ask you is, so in these online real estate companies are getting pretty popular, right? So so you said the trend would be a lot of buyers will be contacting the home stagers. Is that like
the sellers?
Okay,
So
sorry.
So the companies like Purple Brick, are you referring to?
I saw.
Yeah, so these companies let you list your home without a realtor, right? And it is definitely like people, I think the generation we live in right now, we think we can do everything because we have Google. Sometimes we go in and people counter question us because they read something on a blog which they think is right, and it's fair. I think we're part of that generation as much as anyone else is. If it's going to stay or not, I don't know. I think realtors definitely bring in a lot of value in terms of negotiation and pricing your property right, whereas I think it should be $1 million and you just price it at $1 million and you lose money or you make money. So but I think Toronto market should definitely stand and check out, because the realtors, the commission, right? People think for selling my house that would have sold anyways, you're making $50,000. Yeah, for what are you doing for the $50,000, right? But no, in that case, sellers do contact us directly, and it works. Sometimes they've sold for above asking and it works for them. Yeah. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it sits on the market for a month and it doesn't sell. So.
Okay.
Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic for sure.
One question I have, which I don't know, it's a theoretical one.
I'm a nerd.
Right. What do you think? Because you're in sales and marketing.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, is marketing a lie?
Is marketing a lie?
Yes.
You can take time.
No, I don't. I have my stance at it. I think it goes back to what we were talking about in terms of the sleazy sales pitch. A lot of companies try to do that. They try to trick you into selling something. But I think the consumers these days are smart. They're very smart, and no one likes to be tricked. The moment a company, and we've read all these case studies, like the companies who went bankrupt or couldn't cater to their market, like when I recently Forever 21 just filed for bankruptcy after so many other retail stores. And they can market all they want, but it's not working. And it's not working because they don't have what the customers need. So at the end of the day, with the information that everyone has access to, anyone can go Google anything, and they can, on YouTube, they can hear from the industry expert and learn so quick. You can't trick your customers anymore. And if you try to do that, you're not going to be in business for a long time. So I think, but if you genuinely have a solution that you think helps, like in case of home staging, when we stage a house for $3,000 and it sells for $70,000 above asking, that's very real money that my client makes, or they could have lost out on if they didn't make that investment, right? And we spend money on Google ads, we spend, I do YouTube videos, etc. But I don't feel like I'm tricking anyone, because it's genuinely a good product. It's a good service.
Right.
And I think that's it. So marketing isn't a lie. If you,
at least not all the time.
At least not all the time. If you are lying in your marketing, the consumers or the clients will know. They will find out sooner rather than later. And then it's a very short-term business plan. You're not going to be in business for like decades or centuries. Exactly. Yeah.
So it's okay. It's more about reaching people.
Having a good, genuinely good product or solution.
Okay.
And then marketing is about finding your right client base. Or ਜਿਵੇਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਪਹਿਲੇ ਗੱਲ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਸੀ, home staging, like taking the example of this industry, Saturday prices should only $1,300-$1,400, but there are people who go and set up an entire empty house for $1,000. They do that, and I know that there are companies out there to do that, and it works for them, and that's great. Is the work the same? No. Is the quality the same? Absolutely not. We're not highway robbers. We're just kind of, asking for a lot more money for the same work.
Right.
But it's the thing that har customer afford nahi kar sakta, right?
Yeah.
Some customers do. They only have the budget for the $1,000. So marketing allows you to connect with your customer base.
Right. Yeah.
So being the company that I am, Studio Sheen needs to find realtors who will pay us the money that we're asking, because they value the work we're doing.
Right.
Versus if I were to market to a different client set, then it wouldn't work. So I think marketing is about having a good product, genuinely, that you believe in, and then finding the right buyers for it.
Finding the right customers.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that concludes.
We should wrap it up.
Yeah. So let's wrap it up.
Anything you want to say for upcoming entrepreneurs, women entrepreneurs especially?
I think everyone is scared. Everyone has their fears when they're starting off, especially when they're starting off something new. But I think if you genuinely believe in what you're offering, you've got to go for it. Make sure that financially you're making the right decisions. I mean, we talked about it, but it is a very real concern. And I think the biggest advice that I can give is like being in the right network. I think it is so important to surround yourself with people who understand the journey that you're about to go on, because it's very different from a 9-to-5, who have walked that journey before maybe, so that you can learn from them, getting mentors, reaching out. I mean, if anyone watching or listening to this has any questions, or just generally about entrepreneurship or elevators or home staging, anything, I don't care. If they want to reach out, I'm more than happy to help. But just reaching out to people, because people are, from what I've found, they want to help a lot more than we think they do, and they want to support you. So just reach out to the right people, and just believe in yourself. And I think it's a journey. Years 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are definitely difficult, but you just gotta keep going.
And highs and lows will be there.
Highs and lows, exactly.
Years 1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, or 5, depending.
Lal button is in year 1.
1 year is difficult. This is my first year. I'm like, oh god.
Year 1 is definitely more difficult than year 5. Because
for sure.
it is. I think I was reading a stat recently. Like 75% of the businesses or 80% of the businesses, only last for 1 to 3 years.
2, 3 years.
And they close down after that, because finances run out, the customers aren't buying, there's no market, whatever the reason is.
Right.
But if you've made it, beyond that, then
3 years.
Okay,
so now we have to wait 2 more years.
No, but I think you guys are doing great work. I think you've already built a presence for yourself, and I don't think you have to be worried about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And a shout out to Major
From
Absolutely.
UK Major Media.
doing behind the
scenes working with an extra crew member.
And it was great learning about marketing and business world from you. Thanks for coming here. And any contact information you want to share?
For sure. Our company is called Studio Sheen, and our website is studiosheen.ca. So that's SHEN as in Nancy, Sheen. And all our contact information is there. My phone number is there. So if you'd like to contact me directly, or email us, or check out our Instagram for all our recent work.
We'll put that in the caption.
Yes.
Awesome.
On the video.
Okay.
And the color of the sweater is really nice. I wanted to say that. It's very vibrant.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's a compliment.
It is a compliment.
Okay, thank you. No, I appreciate that. I like pop colors, especially in the fall. I mean, everything's so depressing and cloudy.
Exactly. Yeah. The opposite of the fall.
Exactly. Yeah. You wanna add some
very
like bright,
vibrant,
happiness to your day. So thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much for having me, guys. Appreciate it.